If you want the perfect tool to manifest everything you want and have the most fun doing it, you need to practice gratitude. In preparing this topic, it has blown my mind to see how integral gratitude is in every topic. Nearly every topic that we talk about on the channel. Incredibly, gratitude is actually the perfect way to pray, but almost all of us are doing it wrong. Coming at prayer from a place of the opposite of gratitude, lack. This week is Thanksgiving, and I am so thankful for this opportunity to examine this topic. As soon as I decided to make this our topic, I started noticing gratitude everywhere. We have a wood stove that heats our house, and I've always recognized that sitting in front of a fire is an ancient memory that we all share. And I think it might be one of the original places where we experienced gratitude. I could literally feel the gratitude as the warmth of the fire banished my chill. If I had to assign an element to gratitude, it would be fire. It comes from the heart, and it brightens and warms both the giver and the receiver. It's really the fuel that keeps everything going. Without gratitude, life is dark. This isn't just poetry. I've come to understand that this is literally how consciousness works. So often we forget gratitude and get stuck in its opposite, anxiety, or desire, or depression. The Apostle Paul instructs us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Amazingly, this is a perfect description for correct prayer. This is key because prayer from a state of lack tends to reinforce lack, while prayer from a state of gratitude aligns us with abundance. Our prayers and requests should be but a side note to our loving thanks for everything that we have in our life. Not only is gratitude the key to prayer and manifestation, but is also vital to our relationships, for practicing service, and even for our health. Similar to grounding and service orientation, gratitude nearly instantly improves our mental and physical state with no lag time. Let's try it now. Just take a moment to feel thankful that we can all come together and share our appreciation for this topic. Think of the thousands of people involved in creating and delivering the technology to you to make this possible. Do you feel it? Merely existing is incredible. If there has been infinite time behind us and infinite time ahead of us, it's a miracle that we are existing in this present moment. And once you begin to investigate the very nature of our existence as spirit, gratitude goes off the charts. Gratitude is the proper response for the absolute astonishment of getting to be alive and aware, and an essential part of this crazy, sprawling story. That's a quote by best-selling author John Green. I'm very excited to share with you guys the extensive gratitude insights, quotes, scientific findings, stories, and practices that I've found in the short time of preparing for this video. There is so much to discuss that I am, for the first time, planning on making this a two-parter. So we will have a pre-Thanksgiving stream right now, and then a post-Thanksgiving stream next Tuesday. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I want to say thank you to everyone who's in the chat. Oh, we got a lot of people in the chat. Eleanor, thank you for being here. Yale, thank you for being here. Ryan, thank you for being here. Ryan was here last week. We interviewed him. We did a 3-hour marathon. If you missed that one, that's a good one. Let's see. Susan, thank you for being here. And I think that's it. So, welcome everybody. I wanted to just update you, give you a little bit of behind the scenes. I don't know if you've noticed some changes in the live streams, but I think they're getting better because I'm using some new equipment and I'm also planning them in a different way. I'm trying to put a ton of quality into the live streams so that then I can use the live streams content and create videos. So the idea is that the live streams will contain self-contained lessons that can be cut into shorter videos. So hopefully you'll see those coming out on the channel. I'm hoping that we can continue to do some two-part live streams because I think it's going to help us really get into some of these topics. Some of these topics are so deep. I end up, when I do my research, I'm overwhelmed with the material that I have, and trying to fit it all into one live stream I think is kind of silly. So I hope you guys are excited about those changes. I'm going to, of course, continue to be improving way of service. We're brand new. We've only got 144 subscribers, which is a lot for a beginning YouTuber, but looking to grow the channel, always looking to do things better all the time. So I'm always here for the live viewers. Whatever you guys put in the chat, I'm going to read out loud. I am so very grateful for every single message that you guys put in the chat. So any thought you have, any idea you have, reactions to the material, and of course, I'm going to be giving you guys some prompts also to think about. And if you can put your response to those prompts in the chat, then we can discuss them. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's see what we've got in the chat so far. So everybody says, hi, happy Thanksgiving. Yes, happy Thanksgiving. It's so fun. It's really fun. I forgot to put this in my notes, so I'll just mention it now. I love Thanksgiving. I was just thinking about the holidays. There's Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Passover and New Year's, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. But I really, really love Thanksgiving. It's like the wholesome one of all of the holidays. All the other holidays are about something else. Christmas has become so commercialized, so it's about, it's often about giving gifts, and it's about feeling obligated to travel, and it's just not relaxing. But Thanksgiving is very cozy, and it's very chill, and it's very focused. It's so wholesome, focused on gratitude, and it has a very specific theme that's very easy for us to grasp. And I feel like I'm excited to talk about it this week and next week, and and I'm really excited to share with you guys. So I hope you are excited too. Oh yeah, and the 4-day weekend, right? That's what Ryan says. That's a big part of it. I feel like Thanksgiving, Christmas is, like I said, Christmas, you get a vacation around Christmas, but it just feels so much more rushed. There's so much more going on. Everyone's trying to pack so much more into Christmas. And then Thanksgiving is like relaxed and chilled, and it's almost the only actual holiday of all the holidays. Everything else is about doing stuff constantly. So let's take this time to slow down and really be thankful for the chance to slow down and all of that, right? All right. Ryan says, 1 more hour and I'll be done driving. Yeah, I'm sorry. Our buddy Ryan does a lot of driving, so we all have to send him podcasts. I know he's sending us podcasts. Join the Discord if you haven't already. We need a voice-to-text extension for you, Ryan. Oh, yeah. That would be great. Then Ryan could be in the chat. He'd just be doing voice-to-text. Or a call-in show. Yeah, a call-in. That would be super fun. Let me know in the chat if you guys would call in, right? I don't want to do a call-in show and then nobody calls in. I can probably be prepared for it, but if I know people want to call in, then I can do a call-in show. So tell me in the chat. You guys are the ones that show up every week. And again, I'm so thankful for each and every one of you that come and show up for this live stream. It really makes it worthwhile for me, and it's so much fun. It's so exciting. I was just talking to my wife yesterday. I get to spend most of my week thinking about these topics and working on them and refining them and researching them and reading about them, and it's super awesome. And it's thanks to you guys who actually want to receive the live stream. So welcome and thank you. Yale says, first time caller, long time listener. Yeah, everybody will be a first time caller when I do the first call-in show. Timothy's here. He says, hey, welcome. Jack says, top tier holiday. Exactly, isn't it? It might be the best. I mean, I love Christmas. I love the fun and the lights and the gifts and the colorfulness. And I mean, I love all the holidays, to be honest with you. I wish we had more holidays throughout the year. I think we should. But yeah, maybe objectively on paper or just overall, Thanksgiving might be one of the best. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about that. What is your favorite holiday? Yeah. All right. So, I want to discuss this truth that gratitude is at the center of the best prayer practices. This really does feel to me like maybe the most powerful and important idea about gratitude that I can share with you. Because I think that we all, or at least everyone who's prayed or tried to manifest anything in their life, can relate to the idea that we usually approach that process from a place of lacking. And if there's anything that I've learned through developing and practicing the way of service, it's that that's totally backwards and will never actually get you to where you want to be. This is because our emotional state is the frequency that we're tuning into. This is why manifestation experts tell you to feel like you already have the thing you're looking for. But this actually doesn't work either. Scientific studies have shown that we cannot fool ourselves into feeling gratitude. This means pretending that we already have the thing that we lack is probably just going to make us feel that lacking feeling even more. I don't know about you guys, but I have definitely run into plenty of frustration trying to manifest things by feeling like you already have it. And maybe some of the masters, like Neville Goddard talks about this a lot, and apparently he got out of World War II, the World War II draft, by doing this, visualizing that he was going to be at home. And I think it also requires a super high level of faith, which I'm also developing. So if you have the faith that that the thing's going to come, you have no doubt, then great. But you can't fake that. And I think it's more effective, as we'll discuss in this presentation, to simply be thankful for the things that you already have. So, luckily, there is this one simple trick, as we internet shysters like to say, and that is to find things that you are actually grateful for. And you don't even have to mention or think about the things that you lack. I'll show you guys a quote here. Press this button. Okay, there we go. If the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. It's a quote from Meister Eckhart, a 13th century theologian. God already knows all of our struggles and has a perfect plan lined out for all of us. Everything we pray for and look to manifest will be in our future if we can simply allow God and the universe to orchestrate it for us. So can we listen to Meister Eckhart? It is a great challenge. I don't know about you guys, but I have often been motivated to prayer in times of needing and lacking and fear. My last video was about how fear is the only thing that stops us from having all of our prayers answered. And this is really the same lesson. But yes, listening to Meister Eckhart is extremely challenging, and that's why we need to practice. Practice, practice. Establish a routine where you count your blessings. This is indeed what many families practice already when they thank God for their food. And of course, we are all going to practice this on Thursday with Thanksgiving. But we can all immediately implement this when we pray. Even when we pray from a place of lack, we can either start or finish the prayer with gratitude. More on this later. Here's another fantastic quote, this one from the early 20th century poet Khalil Gibran. Let's see. Next slide. You pray in your distress and in your need. Would that you might pray also in the fullness of your joy and in your days of abundance. Here he's describing exactly what we just talked about and what I've discovered through experience. The best time to pray and connect to God is when you are feeling gratitude and all the other positive emotions that come from living masterfully. Practicing gratitude and following the way of service. And now listen to this perfect quote from the Bible. We already listened to it earlier, but listen to it again. In which Paul instructs us exactly how to follow these instructions and how to pray for the things that we feel we lack. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. Here, Paul is giving the exact instruction we've just gone over. Do not be anxious, do not feel the lack, but rather be thankful and then present your requests to God. And if we think of them as requests, that's also important because we're letting go of our need for them to be fulfilled, which again is a feeling of lack. It's very interesting to me how this stuff is very subtle, but also very important because we are working to have the right attitude, which leads us to the positive emotions. And as I've said 100 times on the channel already, a correct understanding of existence will lead to those positive emotions and perfect love of God. Because everything is designed that we attain higher and higher spiritual development, self-realization, depth of relationships, and closeness with God as we follow the truth and as we practice the way of service. And here's a quote from the Old Testament. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Psalm chapter 100, verse 4. So I want to tell you guys more about that experience I had in front of the fire, and just so many times, especially in this last year and a half or 2 years since I have embarked on a spiritual journey and also chosen to make it my life's work such that I'm focused on it every day. If you haven't tried gratitude while praying, you got to try it, or meditating. It's just so much more, you can feel how much more powerful it is than asking for something, or even for me, visualizing something that I might want. It's just so much more powerful to acknowledge the reality of all the good things that you've had. And also there's something about appreciating the present moment that matches very closely with gratitude. I might have to mention it next week. I didn't make it into the notes this week, but I wanted to talk about how the word present, right? Like the present is a present and so we can accept it with gratitude, right? So I think that's a synchronicity in our language that allows us to say that. And a lot of my original, some of my favorite, like you've been on this channel, my favorite book is the Tao Te Ching and the Hua Hu Ching and Lao Tzu's work, and also Stoicism, because it's so related to Taoism in that it teaches acceptance. But what I've realized in this last year, as I've practiced more positive orientation of meditation, right? So like original meditation, a lot of people know of meditation where you just try to empty your mind and kind of accept everything and be present. But by infusing that presence with a sense of gratitude and a positive emotion, it's like gratitude is empowered acceptance. And I believe that this brings you closer to God. And I've talked about how you guys should join the Self-Realization Fellowship and learn Yogananda's method of meditation. This is what he teaches, is that meditation is a way to feel closer and closer to God. And it really is an emotional and powerful experience once you embark on it. So chat, tell me what you guys think. What is your experience with gratitude and prayer? Have you experimented with gratitude and prayer and meditation, or have you done it naturally already? Have you done it naturally, or have you had to learn how to do it? Have you prayed from a place of lack? I mean, come on, admit it, right? We've all prayed from that place, right? If you've prayed at all. I mean, that's probably where some of the first prayers come from, is please change this thing, right? And it's not that we shouldn't do that at all, but putting it in with a statement of gratitude, you'll feel the difference, and you'll probably see it in your life also. All right, let's see what you guys think about all this. Yale says, I'm Jewish, so we have a lot of holidays. Yeah, I think I know a bit about that, yeah. So many that the 1 month we don't have any is known as the month with no holidays. That's awesome. I wish we all had that. I want a holiday every month. I feel like there should be a holiday every month. I mean, the months that don't have holidays, you just they kind of suck. Like February. I mean, my birthday's in February, but still, it's kind of a rough month. It's also the end of winter, but it's just like, and we've packed all these holidays into the beginning of winter, when you really need holidays is in winter, and then January and February basically don't have any holidays, and then like March, does March have any holidays? I mean, it's the first day of spring. To me, that's a holiday. I'm super excited when it's the first day of spring, for sure. Susan says, when a good idea or solutions come to my mind, I say, thank you, Lord. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the next live stream, I'm going to do a rampage of appreciation and list off some things I'm thankful for. But it was funny when I started working on that for this live stream. I mean, you could just go on forever. You could come up with so many things to be thankful for, and that's one I didn't think of. Great ideas, and it's true. I should be thankful for those things. Yale says, I agree and disagree. God will often give you what you need, not what you want. It's your job to understand the lesson you are being given, and though that will give you more of what you want. Yeah. So I said that what you want is coming, and I do believe that, but it might not come to you in this lifetime, right? I think it can, if you orient yourself properly. I think we all can have pretty much anything we want, but yeah, there's a lot of things that you're going to need to do before you can get that thing you want, and that's kind of what you're saying, Yale, right? So I don't disagree with you. I don't know if we disagree with each other. Maybe the exact phrasings, you might have put it a little differently, but basically I'm saying if you can learn this lesson, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later also, because I feel like gratitude is at the core of learning every lesson that you need to learn in order to get to what you want. Timothy says, I have said for years, Thanksgiving is the best holiday. You have, Tim? Oh man, I thought I was so original when I said that. Really? Oh, come on, man. Come on, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. And then he says, they try to rob from it with Black Friday. Yeah. Well, at least Black Friday is completely voluntary, right? Black Friday is like the opposite of Christmas, where it's not voluntary, and you better show up, you better bring gifts, right? Black Friday is just, you can go if you want. I remember accidentally going to Costco on Black Friday because I didn't even think about it. I didn't realize it was Black Friday. And I went to Costco on Black Friday, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, there was just so many people. And it was fine. I got what I needed, and I didn't have any problems. But, and then as I walked out, I was like, oh, it's Black Friday. That's why it's such a mess in there. Yeah. Yeah, Jack says, I forgot about that. Yeah, I know, right? We all forget about Black Friday unless you're excited about it. Like I said, just stay home, man. Just stay home. The people who get up early after Thanksgiving, what a nightmare, dude. The whole point of Thanksgiving it's your only chance to relax. It's your only chance to like overeat and like hang out with family all night and then just pass out at 9 o'clock. And these people are like, I gotta get to Walmart at 5 a.m. for my, Tickle Me Elmo or whatever the hell it is, I'm dating myself with it. You guys remember Tickle Me Elmo? Jack says, the day of extreme greed and consumerism, the day right after. Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny if it actually was named that? It's like, hey, do you guys want to go out for the day of extreme greed and consumerism tomorrow? I'm really excited for the day of extreme greed and consumerism. Just have to keep saying it. Jack says, on my other comment, the point was you will get more if you have absolute trust in God, even when you're not getting your prayers answers. The point you will get more if you have absolute trust in God. Oh, yeah, so you're saying you agree with what I'm saying. If you can align yourself more with God, you'll get what you want. I mean, and you'll also find what you want is what God wants, as opposed to when you're not connected with God, you really want money or you want power or sex or whatever these things are. And not that those things are totally bad, but when you're aligned with God, you're not going to want them to the extreme degree that a lot of people in our society pursue them. Jack says, I think trying to say a prayer first thing in the morning when you wake up is a great habit to build before you get out of bed. It's easy and just starts the day with gratitude. That's a great point. Great point, Jack. Do you want me to call you Jack? You tell me in the chat. And I'm going to give you a great 8-word prayer that you can use in the morning and at night, and it's super fun. It's a great one. You'll enjoy it. Ian's in the chat. Thank you, Ian, for joining us. I am so happy to have you. Another solid fan of the show, great friend of mine. Jack says, it's not voluntary if you work in retail. Yeah. Well, technically your job is voluntary, right? But yeah, I understand. I definitely don't envy those people. Yeah, geez. Man, I feel bad. I wish I had some answer to that, but I don't really have an answer to it. Maybe trade the workday with somebody else or something like that. I don't know. You're right. Everybody's open on Friday after Thanksgiving, most of them. So it's only a 4-day weekend for some people. I'm going to try to take a 4-day weekend. Lord knows I need one, okay? Everybody's going after Black Friday. Pray for those people. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Yale. We need to pray for the people who work in retail and cannot take Friday off. For sure. If you partake in Black Friday, make sure you're trying to buy gifts for other people. You can save money and give more to others. Hey, that's a great point. I feel like that's kind of naturally what Black Friday should be for, is buying gifts for others, but I'm sure people probably buy more stuff for themselves. Eleanor says, I really like the idea of going out with family the day after Thanksgiving to do something sweet and fun together. It's sad that now that day is a nightmare because of all the shopping. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I feel like Black Friday's kind of nice for people who get deals on stuff, but it's probably not worth corrupting the best holiday of the year. So if only we could do it on a different day, but I feel like the only reason people remember that it's a sale day is because it's the day after Thanksgiving. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess, what can we do about it? It's not like we can outlaw it, right? Someday when way of service rules the world, then we can outlaw it, and there will be no day of extreme greed and consumerism. And now Black Friday is just extended to before Thanksgiving. So much rampant materialism. Oh, you're right, Eleanor. Yeah, I feel like I saw so many ads for Black Friday, and I'm like, it's not Black Friday. It's like, sale right now, Black Friday. So yeah, they just do it the whole time. They're shooting themselves in the foot, though, because if they don't actually do it on the day, then nobody's going to give a crap. But, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's better, because now Black Friday, the day, won't be such a mess, right? People can just go crazy in their own homes on the internet, right? They want to do all these sales. You just shop at home on the internet. You don't have to terrorize the retail workers or anything like that, okay? Okay, Yale. I'm going to call you Yale from now on. That's Jack. Jack's Yale. Yale is Jack. Eleanor says, maybe we can make Black Friday into something like Forest Family Friday, where you go out with your family, you can avoid all the traffic and consumption. Yeah. Well, I think if you go into the forest, there's no sales in the forest, so you probably will avoid all that. So you could do it. You don't have to worry about it, like you just said. You don't have to worry about it. All right, guys. I want to give you more insight into how and why to convert fear and anxiety into gratitude. Let's look at another provocative quote. This one is from C.S. Lewis in the Screwtape Letters. Gratitude looks to the past, and love to the present. Fear, avarice, lust, and ambition look ahead. This quote reminds me of one of my favorite Lao Tzu quotes. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. What's remarkable to me is how C.S. Lewis's insight actually fixes up a lot of our problems that Lao Tzu points out. By being grateful for our past, we can eliminate our depression, and then we can avoid anxiety by not worrying about the future. And again, gratitude helps us to do this. Also, present moment awareness and love in the present, which I would also describe as gratitude. There are so many great quotes on gratitude, so buckle up, everybody, and here's another one. No amount of regret can change the past. No amount of worry can change the future. But any amount of gratitude can change the present. That's from the Buddha. Here he compares the power of regret and worry to the power of gratitude. I think we can all agree that there is no comparison. Regret and worry don't change anything, and if anything, they do change things for the worse, as we waste our life energy and cut ourselves off from the positive energy that will brighten our life. But practicing gratitude in the moment instantly changes our perspective on the present. Put simply, when you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears, said by the great motivational speaker Anthony Robbins. And again, this is not woo-woo. I'm a biomedical engineer and a trained scientist. Stanford research shows that gratitude practices literally reduce fear circuit activation in the amygdala. Spiritual traditions understand this and teach it, and now we can measure it. The unthankful heart discovers no mercies, but the thankful heart will find in every hour some heavenly blessings, said by 19th century abolitionist Henry Ward Beecher. Once again, a perfect description of what I've found. Individuals who do not feel grateful and do not feel connected to God don't experience miracles or mercies. And if they do, they often miss them. But when we are in a state of gratitude, we experience a miracle every hour. Chat, think of something you're worried about right now. Now think of something you're genuinely grateful for. Can you even remember what you were worried about? Share in the chat, guys. Hey, if you're enjoying it, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you don't understand how important it is just to do that simple action, it really signals to YouTube that this is worth watching, changes what the algorithm does with it. It could result in hundreds more people seeing it. So just that little action of clicking the like button and clicking the subscribe button makes a big difference. And when you subscribe, you also will be reminded whenever I put out new material. All right, let's see what you guys think in the chat. Yale says, I'll share my morning prayer as well. I'm not going to try to read the phonetic Hebrew, unfortunately. So it translates as, I thank you, living and enduring King, for you have graciously returned my soul within me. Great is your faithfulness. I love that, right? And that's actually something that Yogananda teaches, is that we like leave our body at night. So it's almost a miracle that we come back alive and we get to continue this life. Yale says, this is why we spread the way of service. And I think we are on the downswing of that type of consumerism. Many of the bigger retailers are starting to be closed or tone it down at least. Yeah, exactly. And also, like Eleanor mentioned, it's kind of being spread out. They're realizing, I mean, it's probably better for them to not try to do it all on one day. So spreading it out, doing it online. So maybe Black Friday is kind of not even a thing anymore. So we can just enjoy Thanksgiving. You know, in preparing for this live stream, I was like, hey, this whole week's going to be Thanksgiving to me, because that's all I'm going to be thinking about through Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, I'll probably be thinking about it anyways. And then Tuesdays or Thursdays, Thanksgiving. And then I just want to keep doing it. And I'm going to be doing another gratitude live stream next Tuesday. So it's a whole week of Thanksgiving. And I feel like, you know, as Tim says, it's the best holiday. So what better holiday to extend all week, right? Yale says, I would celebrate Forest Family Friday. Nice. 3F day, totally. And it's on Friday, right? Oh, yeah. 3Fs. There you go. Eleanor says, I was worried about all the messes that will be left to do late tonight. And then I thought, I'm grateful for Susan in my kitchen making cheesecake. And yes, I forgot about the messes, right? Thank you, Eleanor. Exactly. What did the rest of you guys try that practice? It's a really powerful thing to show you that, you know, when you're grateful, these things that you're worried about really do just disappear. And it says in the Hua Hu Ching, in order to avoid negative influences, simply ignore them. I love that quote. And I feel like it's true. Like, if we just trust God to handle these things that we think are really bad, things that we're afraid of, He will. And instead of constantly worrying about them, you know, regret and worry don't do anything. Just replace them with gratitude, and everything just gets so much better. Hey, Renee's here. Renee, thank you for being here. Thank you for your ideas. Thank you for sharing my short. That was the first time I knew somebody shared it. I was pretty excited about that. So thank you, Renee. Welcome to the stream. We love you. Welcome. Eleanor says, I love 2 weeks of gratitude. It does feel like Thanksgiving ends so abruptly. Continuing on with gratitude is a lovely idea, right? And nobody else is going to do it except for everybody in this live stream, right? Because we're going to be doing another gratitude stream next Tuesday. And you know, I was thinking about it, like you want to do the stream about Thanksgiving before Thanksgiving, because after Thanksgiving, people like forget about it. But you guys are not going to forget about it, okay? We're going to extend Thanksgiving out. We'll see what it's like, okay? It's going to be fun. Ryan says cheesecake yum, right? I know. I'm going to be getting some of that cheesecake. That'll be my celebration after I finish the stream. So now I hope to blow your mind by showing you how gratitude is deeply connected to two other key spiritual practices. We'll begin with another quote. This one from 20th century author Faith Baldwin. Most of us come to it step by painful step to discover that gratitude is a form of acceptance. Faith puts this so well because it's a painful thing to realize sometimes that the best way to accept something is to find something in it to be grateful for. But I can feel the truth in this statement, even if I have resistance to it. Gratitude is a form of acceptance, and acceptance is a form of gratitude. It's like acceptance allows us to settle the water so that we can see into it. And when we can see into it, we can find the things to be grateful for. I never thought I would be quoting Oprah Winfrey on the live stream, but here we are. True forgiveness is when you can say, thank you for that experience. Here's another quote that I know is true, but I feel great resistance to. But if we look deeper into our past on hurts that have happened and that we've healed from, we can see that they shaped our character, and often we are indeed grateful for that experience. It seems to me it's only possible to arrive at this kind of forgiveness and gratitude through great spiritual attainment or extensive healing. I feel like this is the kind of state that requires multiple lifetimes to attain, as I mentioned before. Again, remember, we can't trick our brain into gratitude for some negative experience. The science proves that trying to be grateful for things that you're actually not grateful for doesn't work. And I've experienced that myself. I don't know about you guys. We really have to arrive at that gratitude through contemplation, experience, and wisdom. But if we can understand this, we might get there a little faster, healing ourselves and becoming greater masters in the process. So here we can use the transitive property that acceptance equals forgiveness equals gratitude. Sometimes we need to start with forgiveness, which can lead us to acceptance, and then finally to gratitude. But ultimately, they are different degrees of the same energy. And they all inspire us to follow the way of service. So if you recall from the video on acceptance, it is one of the great keys to escaping all the negative emotions. We can find this in the teaching in the Bible in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 16 through 18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Jesus Christ for you. Here is the ultimate teaching that everything that happens to us happens because it is God's will. If we understand that God is love and His plan is perfect, then we can be thankful. And I believe this is the ultimate... Sorry, let me start over. Here's the ultimate teaching that everything happens to us and in our life is God's will. And if we understand that God is love and His plan is perfect, then we can be thankful. I believe this is the ultimate spiritual challenge that we face. And as I mentioned before, I think it will take many lifetimes in some cases to understand this lesson in every situation. Of course, this same teaching can be found in the Hua Hu Ching, passage 3. Acceptance is the very essence of the Tao. To embrace all things means first that one holds no anger or resistance towards any idea or thing, living or dead, formed or formless. And if all of this sounds too hard, which honestly sometimes it does to me, listen to this quote. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorns have roses. That's 19th century novelist Alphonse Karr. I love this quote because it shows us that we just need to look at things a little different to arrive at gratitude. I've come to understand that we have a limited perspective in this life, and we gain a much greater perspective through the pursuit of truth, spiritual attainment, and upon our death in the life review. You can see this in your own life, though, without dying, You can see this in your own life when you look back and see the things that you thought were bad that now you are grateful for. But there are some things that I'm not grateful for. And I thought it'd be a good thing to end the stream with is a list of things that I'm not grateful for at all. All right. Mosquitoes, ticks, stupid people, being cold. Just kidding. Just kidding. I love all those things. I totally do, guys. So, anyways, chat. What's something difficult that you've eventually become grateful for? Maybe you're not grateful that it happened, but grateful for what it taught you. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. While you think about that, I have told this story before. I'll tell it again, though, because it's so key to my life. You know, I used to run a restaurant. It's called Local Root. Yale knows about it. He was my business partner. And we had a great time. We did some great things. We did a ton of sales. We introduced local food to downtown Chicago clientele. But ultimately, we had to close the restaurant. It was just too difficult. And, you know, it was a big, awful thing in my life. But when I look back on it, I wouldn't change it because I learned so many things. And ultimately, I met my wife through the people that I met from running that restaurant. So I wouldn't have met her if I hadn't run the restaurant. And that would obviously be a big L on my life. There's another story as my son's birth was a very difficult one. And we ended up going to the hospital. We hadn't planned to. It was very long labor. There were some complications. We were afraid of the health of the child and my wife, the mother. So there was a lot of negative things that kind of happened leading up to my son's birth. But there was a beautiful sign. We saw a double rainbow right before he was born. And I definitely engaged in prayer to try to make our way through those things. And as I prayed, I saw my prayers being answered. And I'll never forget when my son was born, I started crying because I was so happy and relieved and everything. And the nurse was like, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm happy. This is good." But that was, so what we ended up really feeling was we had this tremendous gratitude for all the people who ended up helping us through that process. A lot of people stepped up and helped us. People who were really close to us. A family friend actually ended up being our nurse that evening, and she made everything so much better. You know, we were afraid of going to the hospital, and then there she was taking care of us the whole time. It was just amazing, someone that we knew and felt very comfortable with. So it actually turned into this extremely positive experience, even though it at the time or even before it was scary and seemed bad. But I think ultimately, if we examine the bad things that happen in our life, we'll find this to be true. So I want to hear what you guys think about this. If you guys have any stories, please put them in the chat, or you know, if you don't want to share the whole story, you can just share a little bit. Let me know what you guys think. The first thing I see when I look over the chat is Yale says, a quote by Oprah Winfrey, "I love bread." I know. I almost want to make sure that quote is attributed to her, but you know, she has had some good guests on, and I'm sure she's said some insightful things on occasion. So I'm not going to be all high and mighty about it. All right. All right. Renee says, whenever I start to feel overwhelmed or discouraged, I just stop and think about all the awesome things that are present in my life, and it just kind of melts all the negative stuff away. Well, Renee, it sounds like you already know you already know how to do this, right? But I'm sure there's going to be some really interesting stuff for you anyways, because there's a lot of fascinating angles to this gratitude topic, and especially next week we're going to get even more advanced and into some counterintuitive things about gratitude practices and things like that. So get excited about next week too. Yale says, I agree, Oprah. I too love bread. Renee says, and if that doesn't work, I have a really awesome, I think you mean hugs. A really awesome hug from Ryan. Yeah, exactly. Awesome hugs. There, sorry. Okay. Hugs always help, right? And a hug is like a perfect way to express gratitude, isn't it? Eleanor says, huge is a... Nobody can spell hug. You guys got to check your spelling, okay? Because I'm reading all your chats out loud. You just check their spelling, okay? She says, yeah, a hug is a huge... She said huge, so I keep thinking. A huge hug. Eleanor says, a huge hug is a physical testament to everything is okay and you have abundance when it comes to someone from someone you love. Exactly. Thank you, Eleanor. We got through it. Yale says, I think local root was probably the biggest learning experience of my life. Totally, man. Totally. Yeah. You know, I've said it so many times. It's like in school, maybe you learn something every month, and then in college you learn something every week, or, you know, maybe if you have a job, you learn something every week. I think you learn more in a job than in college. But then if you're running a business, you learn something every day, if not every hour, if you're paying attention. I feel like I could have been learning something every hour, but I was too overwhelmed half the time, so I probably only learned something every day. You know, it's like, if only I knew then what I know now. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. What can you do? Life only goes forward. No regrets, right? Eleanor says, this seems really trite in the chat, but it's so meaningful to me, I'll share it anyways. Don't worry about that, Eleanor. Don't worry about that. After going through several miscarriages which were terribly painful, I am deeply grateful for those experiences. I would never have guessed I would one day say that and couldn't understand at the time, but it is something that I'm so grateful for. Eleanor, that's very powerful and painful, and it is not trite at all. So thank you for sharing, and that's really cool to hear, and I'd love to hear more about how you're grateful, because that would be fascinating to share also. Yale says, also very dark, but darkest moments are the greatest teachers. Yeah, that's a big part of this gratitude practice, is being able to feel gratitude even in the worst situations, right? That's kind of what that whole section was about, is if we can feel gratitude for the negative experience. And I think maybe we should differentiate between feeling gratitude for an experience, like to God and to the universe for it happening, and gratitude to like someone who did a wrong to you. And maybe that's where my resistance comes from. Let me know what you guys think about this, and maybe I'm too righteous. You know, maybe this is why you're supposed to not judge people, even people who do really negative stuff. But I feel like I have a resistance to that because I don't want to be thankful to someone for being a jerk or for doing something super thoughtless, because I'm like, if you just did it better, we'd all have a better time, you know? That's why I teach the way of service. But I don't know, it's complicated. I'm going to have to think more about that. All right, so I want to give you guys a powerful Tibetan Buddhist gratitude practice. We're going to do a lot of different practices, but we're going to do this one first. It's called the 3 doors practice. Door 1 is the body. Right now, feel your breath. You didn't have to think about breathing today. It just happened. Thousands of times. Your heart beat without you asking. Your eyes are processing light into images right now. The body is doing millions of things that keep you alive. So, what are you grateful to your body for? Feel that gratitude and express it in your mind. Door 2, the present moment. Look around wherever you are. What's one thing you can see that you're grateful for? Not the biggest thing, anything. A lamp, a window, a blanket. The technology letting us connect right now. Land on one of them, and then feel the gratitude and express it in your mind. Door 3, relationships. Bring to mind one person who has blessed your life. Could be someone near you right now. Could be someone far away. Could be someone who's passed away. Let their face arise and feel the gratitude and tell them in your mind. Three doors. Body, the moment, relationship. Any one of them can bring you back when you've drifted. When Thanksgiving gets hectic, when family dynamics get complicated, or when you're just tired, pick a door and walk through it. Finally, here is a Zen Buddhist story about gratitude and acceptance. 150 years ago in Japan, there was a woman named Sono, who was known for her spiritual wisdom. A man came to her and said, "My heart is not at peace. What should I do?" She said, "Every morning and every evening, and whenever anything happens to you, keep saying, 'Thanks for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever.'" The man did this for an entire year, every morning, every evening, whenever anything happened. After a year, he returned to Sono, defeated, and he said, "I've said your prayer over and over. Nothing in my life has changed. I'm still the same selfish person as before. What should I do now?" Sono immediately said, "Thanks for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever." In that moment, the man's spiritual eye opened, and he went home with great joy. Like most Zen stories, this one is open to interpretation. But one interpretation is that he was not actually applying gratitude to his own life and to his own struggle. As he said it as a prayer, but he didn't feel it. But when Sono responded to him with "Thanks for everything, I have no complaint whatsoever," he finally saw the true application of the statement and was enlightened. Sono had applied it even to his very struggle and apparent failure. She showed him how to actually practice the words and not just recite them. So I think this is a powerful mantra and a final simple practice that we can all try out. 8 simple words to use in the morning, in the evening, and any time something bothers us. Thanks for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Here's a quick review of everything we talked about today. Gratitude is fire magic. Centered around the heart, it is the key to effective prayer. It counters anxiety, fear, and most other negative emotions. Gratitude is directly related to forgiveness and acceptance, all of which inspire service. Gratitude is the ultimate spiritual lesson, even for negative experiences. Practice the 3 doors. Practice body, present moment, and relationships. And of course, say, "Thanks for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever." That's all of my prepared remarks for tonight, guys. Tune in next week because we're going to be talking about applied gratitude, the science of gratitude, the giving and receiving loop, and how everything flows into the way of service. And I'm going to read your chats, and we're going to wrap it up. So I love you guys, and let's see what you guys have to say to close it out here. Yale says, "I really think everyone should read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl." Yeah, I've read parts of that. Definitely a lot of great lessons in that book. Tell us why, though, Yale. I hope you mentioned that. Let's see. Eleanor says, "I think that having those painful experiences helps me to have tiny sparks of deep gratitude whenever I meet a child for the first time, especially when I hear a friend is pregnant. Everyone says casually that every child is precious, but I feel it thoroughly, and I feel a touch of the same overwhelming gratitude that I have when I carry a baby to term. I feel that when I meet a kid or baby, it's really a wonderful gift to feel that deep gratitude on any random day. That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's one of the ultimate lessons for any negative experiences, that it really just gives us that appreciation of the positive experience. Losing a child like that, as I have with Eleanor, really does help me to appreciate the children that we do have. And thanks to your comment, Eleanor, now I can apply it to every child that I meet, and really every person that I meet, right? What a beautiful lesson. So thank you for sharing that, Eleanor. Yale says he developed logotherapy, a form of psychotherapy focused on finding meaning in life. Oh, good. Interesting. I don't think I've heard of that. I'm going to have to check that out. Yale says the world was created solely for the purpose of being fruitful and multiplying. In the words of the prophet Isaiah, God did not create it, i.e. the world, to be desolate. Rather, he formed it so that it should be inhabited. As already noted, however, this really means that God wants us to civilize the world and to make it a place fitting for divine habitation. Yeah, totally. I agree. Too many people have like this doom and gloom or end of the world idea of what God wants for the world. I just don't think it's true. I think a lot of what we read, perhaps like in Revelation, is it's metaphor, it's imagery for things that might come to pass and they may not. But I think ultimately God wants us to have a beautiful life. And if there is some end of the world coming, it's not up to us to figure that out. It's up to us to live a great life. And I think that through my work that I'm sharing with you guys, all the spiritual sources that I've studied, they say that we are part of this infinite experience that's to grow and to experience more and more. And I'm grateful. I'm gratitude for that. I'm grateful for that. All right, guys. I hope the shorter live stream was easier for you guys to handle. Like I said, we're going to do part 2 next week, and I think this is easier on me. And it's funny. I'm like, where's the next half hour? I'm supposed to keep going for another half hour, right? So maybe I do like doing a longer one. Let me know what you guys think in the chat or in the Discord or just in person. You guys can text me and tell me if you prefer the 1 hour or the 90 minutes. It might be interesting. But for now, that's what we've got for today. That's day 1, part 1 of gratitude. And we've got a whole nother live stream for you next Tuesday after you've practiced everything we talked about this week. We're all going to get back together 1 week from tonight and talk about it again. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. So with The Way of Service, I'm live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel a lot. Share the videos, share the live streams with other people. If you enjoy it, if you feel like sharing it, please do. That makes the biggest impact on the channel. So I'm Danny with The Way of Service. I'm live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I love you guys, and I will see you next week for another gratitude live stream.